All right, we'd like to welcome everybody. This is session number 4 of a chance to meet and greet the Fiddle Hell online instructors. We welcome those who are joining us on Zoom. We welcome those who are joining us on Facebook Live in the Fiddle Hell Massachusetts Facebook group. And we welcome the people who are hearing this later on YouTube. And we welcome the people who are seeing it at Fiddle Hell themselves, because we're going to post the video there as well. So we have a little more than an hour, a chance to meet 7 or 8, I think, excellent instructors in different styles. They're going to play a little bit, talk about what they're doing at Fiddle Hell Online. And of course, this will be exciting. You'll learn more about them and what they do and how they sound. You'll want to play like all of them. You'll want to try all the styles. I always do. But also, it's a bit of an inducement to go to fiddlehell.org and read up and hear about Fiddle Hell with 35 jams and 35 concerts and 160 or so workshops, and register for it and join us. It's coming up November 5th through 7th. That's only a week and a half or so away. So I'm going to turn it over to my son, Andy Reiner, and he'll introduce the folks here and serve as MC.
Hey, friends, it's super great to be with you tonight, and we're certainly all excited for Fiddle Hell. On a personal note, we're really excited that it's snowing out and that our house is not going to burn down, looks like. So things are looking up. We're feeling positive, and we're so glad that you're all with us tonight, whether you're on Facebook Live or you're joining us now. First up on our wacky adventure through a very wide variety of Fiddle Hell instructors is someone that I know very well because she's my wife, Joy Adams. She's an amazing cellist. She is a doctor of cello. That's right, Dr. Joy Adams. And she'll be presenting some banjo ideas as well as, are you doing singing ideas too? Anyway, she's going to tell you more about what she's going to do. I'm not. So she's my favorite human in the world. Anyway, here is Joy Adams.
It's a hell of an introduction. Thank you. Yes, I am Joy Adams. I'm originally from Spokane, Washington, and I spent too many years in college so that I could stay at college and teach at one. That was the point. So now I am a music theory and composition instructor at Naropa University in Boulder, Colorado. I love my job. I am also a recording artist. I've played almost all the cello tracks on Godless, the Netflix show from a couple years ago that won an Emmy Award. And I'm on a new Netflix show that just came out a couple days ago called The Queen's Gambit. And yeah, it's a cool show if you haven't watched it. It's about this amazing lady who plays chess. And I also play cello with Nathaniel Rateliff. That was my gig before coronavirus ruined all of our hopes and dreams. And prior to that, I was very lucky to play with Miss Bonnie Payne from Elephant Revival and Daryl Anger. So I am teaching quite a variety of workshops. I'm going to play singing while playing. I'm going to teach singing while playing old-time banjo. Playing old-time banjo is one thing, and singing is another thing. Putting them together requires a little bit of strategy, and I have a whole lot of ideas about that. I've taught this course before at Fiddle Hell, and I love teaching this. So that'll be a lot of fun. It does require a little bit of pre-knowledge of the banjo, just to kind of get your way through the chords quickly and be comfortable with a good claw hammer pattern before you come into it. But I'll talk a little bit about singing in that as well. I'll also teach 2 classes on cello groove. I think the best part about the cello is that it was designed to be an accompanimental instrument, which means that we get to be the ultimate team player behind the fiddle players, always and forever, and it's a great place to be. So I know a lot of cellists tend to look down on that role of accompaniment. I'm obsessed with it. I think it's the most free, improvisation heavy, responsible, zoned in way to play an instrument, and I absolutely thrive in that role and have a whole lot of ideas. Because I'm also a theory instructor, both of those classes will have a heavy chord component to them. I love talking about chords, and I try to break them down as well as I possibly can. There is a intro to cello groove, which will cover things like fiddle tune form and the very basic chords that you'll find in most fiddle genres. And we'll talk about how to be the supportive voice without overtaking an ensemble and how to be a sensitive listener. Because I think that accompaniment, first and foremost, is listening to who you're playing with. And I'm lucky to play with some incredible fiddle players. I'm very lucky. So that will be a fun class, and I will cover probably 2 basic groove patterns. And then I have a class called Cello Grooves for specific genres, because the same groove does not apply to all fiddle genres. So I'll talk about the difference between an old-time groove versus something that you would play behind a jig, or maybe what you would use to accompany a piece of Swedish folk music versus a bluegrass tune with a singer on it. So there's a big discussion to be had there. I'll also be teaching playing in tune harmonically, which is another of my favorite topics. In the class description, I think it says something about how a lot of us are taught to match an individual pitch when it comes to intonation. I prefer to hear myself settle in the middle of chords. I think it's just a much more cozy way to play in tune. It's more forgiving, and you start to realize that intonation is not black and white. Our favorite, Mr. Daryl Anger, always says that intonation is a vibe. And depending on what chord you are playing over, that vibe changes and your intonation can change. So it's this fluid, beautiful thing instead of being a terrifying, like you are in tune or out of tune. It's so much more than that. And I'm very excited to teach that class for the first time. And then Andy and I are co-teaching a class called Channel Your Inner Cat to improvise on fiddle tunes. And this is inspired by our sweet little black cat, whose name is Capo. And we joke that he can meow in all 12 keys. And like any cat, Capo, can spin around in midair, and he can recover from falling off of a 8-foot shelf, and he can go from dead asleep to wide awake chasing something. He's got all these like split-second moments in his personality, and we're going to try to harness that attitude and bring it into improvisation. Improvisation should always be fun and creative, and you should feel like you're about to fall off of the 8-foot shelf all the time. I think that's the best feeling in the world. So that will be a super fun class to teach. And then I'll be doing a variety of little concert things. I think I'm really excited to be involved in this banjo concert with Tom Cotton and Tim Rowell, who are both incredible banjo players, and I feel very humbled to be in that lineup.
I think it's Tom Collins.
Tom Collins, oh my gosh, my brain today. Thank you. Yes. Legendary Tom Collins. So, how much time do I have? I don't want to stomp.
You should play him something.
I'll play something, but I'm trying to decide if I should play my snowy banjo tune or if I should play cello.
Cello's good.
Cello's good. Okay. It's snowy, so all I've been playing is the same banjo tune over and over again all day because it's a snowy banjo tune. I will contrast that now by playing Dry and Dusty, which is a non-snowy tune on the cello. And it's one that I learned from Daryl and Emmy Phelps. It's still one of my favorite old-time tunes.
Yay!
Thank you.
I think we have time for you to play the 30 seconds of banjo.
Cool. I'll give you 30 seconds of banjo. I'm getting good at 30 seconds because I just joined TikTok and I feel old because it's all like 12-year-old kids. But every video is restricted to like this much time, and it's not very conducive to music, so I don't know what I'm doing there. This is a song I wrote for my little brother. Wake up, little brother. Winter's been by and he left us the words to his song. Etched on the window last night. Maybe if we softly sing, old Jack Frost will bring enough snow to keep Mama from going. We'll run away into that snowy night. Though we will go, I've no idea. Unresolved.
All
Thank
right.
you for having me. I'm excited for Fiddle Hell.
So that's Joy Adams. You can see her and come to the Womp as well at Fiddle Hell. So next up, we've got one of my Irish heroes who I first heard playing with the Bothy Band. And I'm checking out his bio, and it turns out he's played with everyone ever. I love the recordings with Andy Irvine in particular. And I'm not sure where you're at right now, so maybe you could tell us where you are. And anyway, I want to introduce for the first time at Fiddle Hell, Kevin Burke.
How's that? All right, very good. Well, as you just heard, my name's Kevin Burke. I'm coming to you from Portland, Oregon, where I've lived for about 40 years. I grew up in London. My parents were both Irish people from a place called Sligo, which is a place renowned for its fiddle players. And through the influence of my parents and many of their friends that were living in London at the time, I grew up listening to a lot of Irish music, particularly Sligo music. Started playing the fiddle. And then as an adult, I moved over to Ireland. And as you heard, I played with the Bothy Band for a while. And when that band finished, one of the members and myself, a fellow called Micheál O'Donnell, we came over to Portland. Came over to America, visited Portland, and ended up staying here. So Micheál went back and spent another few years in Ireland before he sadly passed away. But I'm still here in Portland, and also, as you just heard, it's my first visit to Fiddle Hell. So thanks very much for having me. I'll be playing some Irish music, and it starts off on Thursday, the 5th of November, and I have two events that day. The first one is a workshop dealing with bowings and the different ornaments that you might hear playing these Irish tunes. And there's also a session that night, a jam session. Everyone's welcome to join in. I'll play a few tunes. You can join along and play with me. And we'll probably pick a few well-known session tunes so that people won't feel left out. Then on the next day, there's another workshop, and we're going to learn a tune. I did suggest a reel called "The Sailor on the Rock," but I'm open to other suggestions, or if anyone objects to that for any reason, we can always change it. There are many tunes to choose from, so I don't think we'll be stuck. And then later that same day, I'll be given a concert performance for an hour, just solo fiddle, and you hear the kind of music I usually play. And then on the next day, there's a workshop about how to improve your fiddle playing in general. And again, if anyone has topics they want to cover, or suggestions or questions, feel free to submit them. I don't have a set agenda at the moment. It's mainly what I think the people involved might want to hear or might benefit from. And then finishing up on the 8th with another session, another jam session at 4 o'clock Eastern time. So I should probably play you a tune. One of the things we'll probably talk about, it's a kind of standard topic when you discuss Irish music, is the different styles that belong in the different areas. And the styles are often determined or influenced, I should say, by the repertoire, and vice versa. The style influences the repertoire, and also the prominence of certain players. If a certain player becomes popular in a certain area, then the local people will start veering towards his style. And up until 60, 70 years ago, it was very much a regional thing. But now with the advent of many different recording outlets and the internet and radio and TV and people traveling to various music events, the regional quality of the styles seem to be disappearing a bit. You might hear someone in the south of Ireland playing in the style of someone in the north of Ireland, whereas 50 years ago, that was very much less likely to happen. Anyhow, I'll give you a bit of a tune. That tune I mentioned that I offered as a suggestion for the Learn a Tune session, The Sailor on the Rock. I'll give you an idea of how that might sound. Here we go. So there we go, the Sailor on the Rock, very well-known reel. And those times and dates that I called out earlier, you can check them all out at the website, fiddlehell.org. The full schedule is there, and all the different instructors are listed and what they'll be dealing with and when they'll be dealing with it. So check out the website. And I think that's probably all from me for now. So see you on the 5th of November. Have a great time. Look after yourselves. And I'm ready for a great weekend.
Yay, let's get some
Yeah.
Zoom applause for Kevin and Burke.
Thank
That's what
you.
Zoom applause looks like, according to me. If you're muted, it sure sounds big. A lot of people do it. All right. Thank you for that. We're so excited to have you. And we just wish we could jam till 3 in the morning with the Guinness, but we've got to keep the tradition alive in the meantime.
Next time.
All right. Next up, I'm not even sure how this is going to work, but apparently they know how it's going to work. We've got 2 banjo players that I'm introducing simultaneously. We've got Tony Thomas and Tom Collins. Tom is coming back, and Tony Thomas is new. Oh, I guess they're okay. Tom is first, and getting real time information here. So, Tom, let's hear about you and your banjo and what you're gonna teach.
Yeah. Hey, everybody. Can you hear me? Nice.
Sounding
This is
great.
my second time at Fiddle Hell. I'm really, really excited. And I teach a lot online. So I feel if you're on the fence about going to Fiddle Hell because it's not live, don't worry about it. This online learning thing, it actually works really well. I do it every day. So have faith in that. It's a real honor to be amongst these wonderful musicians. My name is Tom Collins. I'm the founder of Banjo Quest, an online banjo learning system. And I will be appearing at Fiddle Hell this year. And I'm doing 3 workshops. I'm teaching a round peak tune. Round peak is kind of where I have my roots in terms of banjo. And so I'll be teaching a droning tune called Ducks on the Mill Pond. We're going to have a lot of fun with that. I'm also going to be running one of my banjo boot camps, and banjo boot camp is all about learning the fundamentals and just sort of putting a metronome up and just working through the fundamentals. I really believe in getting the striking hand to be totally automatic, and this is one of the best tools to do that. So we'll be doing a banjo boot camp for Fiddle Hell. And I'm also mostly excited about my listening session with Tony Thomas. I'll get to that in a second. And I'm in a hypnotic old time jam. I'm still thinking about that hypnotic old time jam. I think I got some tunes for that, some droning trance tunes with Joy Adams and Tim Rowell. And why don't I play a tune?
Yeah,
And
I
then
think
I'll
that's
introduce
actually
my
a
buddy
concert.
Tony, because Tony and I are doing something special. I've got fiddle envy, so I dispensed with the frets. They just pop right off. I have them in a jar. No. This is Western country. Going to the Western country now, Susan Anna. Going to the Western country now, Susan Anna gal. How do you make your living now, Susan Anna? By drinking whiskey and playing cards, Susan Anna gal. to my notion now, Susan Anna. Rock to my notion now, Susan Anna gal. Yeah, it's a little round peak, fretless stuff for you. And the other thing I'm doing is I'm going to be doing a listening session with my buddy Tony Thomas. Tony Thomas is a scholar of the banjo and a specialist in African American banjo history. Tony has probably forgotten more than I will ever know about the banjo. So he and I are going to sit down live with you guys, listen to some seminal recordings in the African American banjo tradition, and we're going to chat about it. And I'm going to turn it over to Tony to finish us off here.
Oops.
You go to this workshop. After the workshop, you will learn to know how to play 20 tunes that took me 30 years to learn. No, what we're going to do is we're going to play some music by a variety of very different African American traditional banjo players, and we'll have a handout on the site for this in a day or two with links to some of this music that you can listen to on your own before coming to talk about it and know about it, and where you can explore more. And so that we're kind of launching you on a journey to listening to a variety of different banjoists rather than just listening to what I have to say or what Tom has to say. And then we will leave it open for questions, because no matter what the topic is about on a workshop like this, as I've learned, there's a standard group of questions that somebody or everybody will be wishing to ask, and they will be asked, and we will move forward from that. But make sure, if you're interested in the workshop, check in a few days, and I'll have this to David tomorrow morning, to check for the handout that we will have, so you can listen to some things before you go, and you can find out where, if you're interested in listening more, regardless of what we do in our workshop, you can explore. Because what's really important to me is not to my brilliance or what I or Tom is going to say, but getting more people listening and finding more sources for their banjo playing, including in the African American tradition.
We're so excited to hear all about that. You're actually under time, so I can ask if anyone in the Zoom room has any questions for Tony. Type your question in the chat if you want Tony to answer your question. We're awaiting questions. In the meantime, that sounds amazing.
Yeah, I'm so excited for that.
Glad I am. You are. This is my first time at Fit. I have a very hard time with these virtual things, thinking I'm not going there. Like started, I'm in West Palm Beach, Florida, and I started to tell friends in Hartford and where I'm from, and Great Barrington, well, maybe I'll stop off on the way there or back, and it's just it's weirdness. But we're in West Palm Beach, home of the stars, just down the street from where the president voted yesterday.
Wow. All right. So thank you, Tony, and thank you, Tom. We are excited to keep growing our banjo world at Fiddle Hell. So we're going to keep it moving because we got a lot of amazing people here. Next up, we've got someone who's amazing. Well, everyone's amazing. What am I talking about? I met this person in Boston, and she's played on Jimmy Kimmel Live, CBS Sunday Morning. One of my favorites, Laura Cortese and the Dance Cards. And she went to Berkeley, and every time she plays a note on her fiddle, she sounds amazing.
And
So
she toured with the Milk Carton Kids.
yeah.
Oh,
So
I love
please
them.
make welcome with some thunderous muted Zoom applause, Jenna Moynihan.
I see a room there.
Yeah, that's the end of me. Yeah,
Oh,
because
you're
I came
still
in
there.
here.
Oh, okay. Hi, everybody. Good to see you. I can't get over the fact that no one answers me when I talk on Zoom in these things, but know that I wish I could just hear everybody all at once saying how they're doing, but we can't do that because that would be a big mess. But yeah, I'm Jenna, and this is one of several fiddle hells, I think, for me. But of course, the first virtual one. But no bother. Wearing my slippers the whole time already, and I'm psyched. I don't mind really. I am in Gloucester, Massachusetts right now. I'm a new and temporary resident of Gloucester, Massachusetts, but typically I live in Boston when there's not a pandemic. I'm teaching a few sessions next weekend or 2 weekends. And yeah, I'm going to teach some tunes, but kind of one thing that I really like to talk about while we use a tune, to learn a tune by ear and all that good stuff. But I really like talking about phrasing and dynamics, and I like talking about how to use singing in your playing. Not that I'm necessarily going to have you sing and play at the same time in these classes, but using like your own singing voice to unlock all these melodies and these tunes, and use that as a guide for phrasing. So yeah, I'll give you lots of tips about how I do that. And there's a session, there's a concert, and then, just hundreds of things happening, which is very exciting. I grew up playing Scottish tunes, which is still a big part of what I do, though I've been known to sneak in a Swedish tune or an Irish tune or something, but I'll probably mostly I'll probably stay Scottish tunes this for Fiddle Hell. Yeah, it's great. Maybe I'll play a tune. I don't really have anything else to say, but if anyone has any questions, of course you could say so in the chat box. Yeah, but maybe I'll play a tune, and then if I think about anything to say after that, I would say that then. These two tunes, of course I don't know the names of them, but I have been playing them a lot the last few days. It's kind of the thing that wants to come out when I pick up the fiddle, so.
Yay!
Thanks.
Sounds so great, Jenna.
Right.
Um, I wanted to draw your attention to Leslie in the chat is saying that your version of Black Donald's pipes inspired her son's love for the instrument for years.
Oh my
So
gosh, that is so sweet. And
I want to make sure that you know that.
2010. Sure. Wow, that is so sweet. What a lovely thing to know.
And Vi wants to know, was that first tune a march or a strathspey?
Excellent question. I think it was a march, and I think it's a funny version of a tune called the Duchess Tree, but it's not quite the Duchess Tree. So if like, you know that tune and you heard me play that, you'd be like, yeah, right. But again, there's parts of it that sound like a tune called the Duchess Tree.
So if we want to jam on it, we'll remember what's that one that's not quite the Duchess Tree, and you'll know exactly what we're talking about. Okay, let's have some. Thank you, Jenna. Yeah. Let's have some Zoom applause for Jenna. She's amazing. She's at Fiddle Hell. Yay! All right, our next magic fiddler here, I think, invented the tune of the day trend. I'm not sure how many years ago, and he's
2012.
2012. At some point somewhere on the internet, you must have seen Guy somewhere, and well, he's unmuted and ready to go, but so I'll just pass it off. Vi Wickam, my fellow Coloradan, and we're grateful to have you here with us at Fiddle Hell.
Thanks, Andy. It's a pleasure to be here. What a great slate of people to be on the docket with. You know, I feel like finally I'm one of the cool kids getting included in Fiddle Hell. It's my first time here, and I'm really excited to be teaching with you guys. And Andy, you're awesome. Joy, you're awesome. So are the rest of you guys. I'm going to be teaching 3 different workshops. The first one I'm going to be teaching is about playing fiddle in a band. And I grew up playing in the contest fiddling tradition. And, you know, pretty much it's just tune playing all the time. And yeah, it is about time, right, Sarah? But when I got to be around adult age, I started playing in bands other than our family band, where we played a lot of tunes. And these bands involved lots of singing songs, not just playing tunes. And so I had to go through a process of learning what's appropriate and what's not appropriate when you're playing fiddle in a band. And I had to realize that the fiddler in the band doesn't get the solo all the time. Like 90% of the time when you're playing fiddle in a band, you're doing pads underneath, or you're doing other rhythmic accompaniment, or you're doing fills, and you're usually trading fills with somebody else. You know, so learning how to be a team player is a really important skill as a fiddler. Also, we're going to talk about how to hear the chords. You know, when you're playing in a band, how to know what key the tune's in. Can you not hear me? No, you can't hear me? Turn it up?
No,
I
you're
will
doing
turn
great.
it
I
up.
was just
No.
making
Okay.
motions based on your words.
Gotcha. So it's really important to learn those skills and to listen. And we're going to talk a lot about how tactically to approach that. The next one I'm going to be teaching is on Friday at 2 p.m. Mountain Time, 4 p.m. Eastern Time. And it's going to be steps to becoming an online sensation. Woo! Now, we're going to talk about both the strategies and the tactics to becoming a big deal online. My wife was teasing me when I told her about this class. She's like, what is this? Steps to be more like Vi Wickam? Which I thought was hilarious. But yes, strategies and tactics. So how do you want to get yourself out there into the world in such a way that people will remember you and get your music to a bigger audience? And all of us want to get our music to a bigger audience. So we will talk about all those kind of things. I've got a lot of ideas for you, both from the perspective of what technologies you should use or can use, and also from the perspective of how to approach them. So that's going to be really fun. And then my final one is going to be later in the evening on Friday. It's going to be jam session survival skills. We'll be doing that at 6:30 p.m. on Friday on Mountain Time, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. So I'm really looking forward to that. I've taught that a lot of times in different settings. Yes, no jam busters, Sarah. Talk about what's appropriate in different styles of jamming. A lot of people think a jam is a jam is a jam, but an Irish jam is different from a swing jam, is different from a bluegrass jam, is different from a Texas fiddle jam. And you know, there's a lot of things to consider when you're going to a jam. So we'll look at, if you're brand new to jamming, how to get yourself comfortable with jamming, how to learn the tunes that the people know who go to that jam, and all sorts of things around that topic. And with all of my workshops, I always tailor it to whoever shows up. So I will be answering your questions about all these things. And I'm really looking forward to having you in my classes. And since it's Jana, right? Jana played that reel that sounded a lot to me like Sally Johnson, which Sally Johnson is a popular Texas style tune. So I figure I might as well give the Western States version of that tune. Doctor Who. What do we have, a TARDIS here? Thank
Yeah.
you.
I have so many screens open so I could say all the right things that once in a while the right thing doesn't go to the right place. That's
Hey,
a
that's
really
okay.
great thing,
That's
right?
okay.
We're stoked
Well,
to have
really
you in
excited.
hell.
I'm really excited to be here. Thank you so much to you and your dad for inviting me to be a part of this really fun event.
Absolutely. See you in hell.
See you in hell!
Well, our next instructor. Well, let's hear it for Vi. Everyone, let's have some Zoom applause. Yay! Or Facebook applause if you're watching on Facebook. We see you. We appreciate you. All right. Next on our docket is another cellist with a doctorate. We've got all of the Dr. Cellos. I don't know if there's a Dr. Cello session scheduled, but maybe it'll be informal. Anyway, Renata has been she's played with everyone. She's very involved with the Wintergrass Festival. She's been teaching workshops everywhere, New Directions Cello Festival, Alistair Fraser's camps, and she writes really amazing books.
She has incredible books. If you play the cello or you want to play the cello, you absolutely have to look into her published material.
So we're going to stop talking and turn it over so you can meet our friend, Dr. Renata Bratt.
Thank you, Joy, and thank you, Andy. So great to see you both up here and everyone, actually. I wanted to start with my tune, and I was thinking about what to do, and I realized that the biggest problem with Fiddle Hell, and the reason it's called Fiddle Hell, is, of course, it makes you very worried. It takes a worried man to sing a worried song. It takes a worried man to sing a worried song. It takes a worried man to sing a worried song. I'm worried now, but I won't be worried long. I want to learn from Tracy. I want to learn from Tom. I want to learn from Kevin. I want to learn from Jan. Well, he's not even here, so what do I care? But anyhow, I do. I want to learn from Joy. I really can't go wrong. I'm worried now, but I won't be worried long. I won't be worried long. I won't be worried long. I won't be worried. Thank you, thank you. So, first of all, I wanted to thank Fiddle Hell for helping me keep my sanity and my fiddle chops together in the first part of this pandemic, because they had all these great jams starting on Wednesdays, and then they were on Wednesdays and Fridays, and that really helped me personally. There's a lot of instructors at Fiddle Hell that have actually taught me personally. Daryl taught me how to chop and, well, lots of different things. And Bruce Molsky taught me how to sing with my instrument. And Matt Glazer helped me learn jazz techniques. And of course, Kevin Burke helped me learn better violin stuff. So there's really no way that you can go wrong with a fiddle instructor at Fiddle Hell. And a cello instructor, and a banjo instructor, and a guitar instructor, and a mandolin instructor. I write and compose arrangements for Alfred and Mel Bay, and my latest thing was a little thing called Green Grows the Laurel, which I love that. It's a Bruce Molsky version that I first heard, and this is a little tiny beginning orchestra tune that I did. And of course, I did do all these Mel Bay things. My latest one is cello chords, rhythms, and backups. And don't worry, I can teach violin too as well. And that's what I'm going to be doing on Sunday the 8th at 4 o'clock Eastern. I'm going to be teaching chords, chops, and rhythms for accompaniment, which, as you can tell, is something I love to do. We had heard from Joy earlier that she loves to do that. And really, I honestly do sit around. I do a little bit of practicing, and then all I do is play chords. I'm not that interested in playing tunes, except sometimes, say when I'm going to go out and teach jazz improvisation in the schools in Santa Cruz, which is another of my jobs. And I'm going to be teaching cellists at 5:30 Eastern on Sunday, jazz improvisation on cello. And I wanted to mention that on Friday the 6th, we're going to be playing a cello concert. And that cello concert is at 2:30 Eastern. And it's going to be with McKinley James, Daniel Hawkins, Joy Adams, and me. And each one of us is going to be better than the last in whatever order we go. So I'm really thrilled about that. I also wanted to say that if you're at all interested, if you're a cellist and you want to learn about a little bit about jazz, don't be afraid to be in my class, because we're going to be playing over a African American gospel tune. We won't go past the 1 and the 4 and the 5 chords. We're going to learn some blues licks, and we're going to learn some pentatonic licks. It won't be anything harder than stuff that everybody can do who is a cellist. And don't be afraid to let your cello flag fly. You know, everybody is envious of us at all times. So,
Oh, yes.
just wanted to remind everyone. And I think that's about it. Was there anything else you wanted me to talk about? Because I feel like I've talked about it all.
Oops. Yeah. No, we're just really, really excited for everyone to get to learn from you, Renata. And it's gonna be awesome. Joy, you look like you're gonna say something.
No, I just wanted to give Zoom applause.
Thank you.
Let's hear it for Renata Bratt. See you in hell. Well, thank you so much. I just want to mention real quick that if you haven't already signed up, there is still time. You can still sign up for Fiddle Hell. You can do it at fiddlehell.org. You could do it at fiddlehell.com. Either one will work. And the only way to get into these sessions is to sign up on our website. And if you're having trouble, we have some more scholarships available. So please do not suffer in silence. Please reach out and help us to help you. Yeah, it's coming up now in 2 weeks. You can watch the replays of every single workshop, jam, and concert for 3 whole months. There's 35 concerts, 35 jams, and 160 workshops. So we feel like we can rightfully call this a fiddle explosion, and we're glad that you're thinking about joining us. So without any that moving on now, because we know you're going to join if you can learn from this next person. He is incredible player who plays like hand-built custom electric violins. I met him when I was a little kid and I was blown away. And most recently he's been writing books called the Strum Bowing Method, which is the books that we needed.
It's the Bible.
It's
if you're a string player,
The
It's
Groove
Bible.
Bible. So if you want to know who wrote the Groove Bible, his name is Tracy Silverman, and he's with us right now.
Oh, what a guy. What a guy. Well, Fiddle Hell, you you think that, see, for most of these kinds of camps, they go online, they do an online virtual thing this year, and it's like, yeah, it's not the same. With this one, because like everybody who goes to Fiddle Hell tries to get to every session. You're like halfway through this one, you're like, oh, I'm gonna run to this one, I'm gonna run to that one. There's no way that you can get to a third, a quarter of what they offer. But now on this virtual platform, you can watch every single session, every single concert. I mean, that it's better than being there. So just saying. All right. So, Joy was talking about playing rhythm, playing chords, and Renata was just talking about playing chords, and she's got this new book, this chords and rhythm book, which is going to rock the cello world. And Vi was talking about playing rhythm, and I'm going to talk about playing rhythm. I'm sorry, but this is kind of my thing. So, and not that it's not everybody else's thing, but it's just my only thing. So now it's one of the things that I've been teaching for a while, and I feel very strongly about it. It's kind of my mission. I wrote this book, The Strum Bowing Method, and I'll give you a quick idea what that is. So I'm teaching a class here at, and I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it's Thursday the 5th at 3:30 Eastern, 2:30 Central. Dave, let me know if I messed that up. And a concert that same day at 6:30. And I'm going to teach this strum bowing method. So very simply, what this is it's my way of getting string players, mostly classical string players, because fiddlers already kind of know how to do this instinctively, but especially classical players, how to groove in an authentic way that works for contemporary pop music like rock, jazz, hip hop, all of that. And so you don't sound classical, or sometimes, so you may not want to sound fiddly when you're playing rock or something like that. So real simple, what strum bowing means is just using your bow like you're strumming a guitar. So that if you wanted to play a rhythm that would say something like this, is like a, and that's okay. It's kind of got some groove to it, but it's not. But if you asked a guitar player to do that, they would never do it like that, back and forth as it comes. You don't play guitar like that. You play it like this. It doesn't really sound like a guitar because it's a violin, but the important point here is that what they're doing is they're not going as it comes. They're not going, because you don't play guitar like that. You strum a guitar, right? And the reason for that is because what you're doing actually is physicalizing the subdivision of the beat, right? The little notes that I call it the smallest particle of the groove. I call that the groove on. So what they're doing is physicalizing that groove on and bringing out the accents and muting what they don't want to hear. So the question is, how do we do that on strings? And we have to know how to ghost. So you can do things like and the whole idea of this is that you can keep a very simple back and forth motion, strumming motion, which anybody can do. And you don't have to learn a million chop patterns. So you don't have to learn down, down, up, up, down, down, whatever, for every different pattern that you're learning, because there are too many to learn. So we learn one very simple concept, which is to strum, and then you can apply it to everything. Okay, so that's the idea of it. And I also play these things. I teach usually strum bowing, especially like at Fiddle Hell on acoustic, because that's what most everybody has. But I do also play these things. And so just for the entertainment of it, I'll play something for you. Hopefully the entertainment value. And I'm going to play you something that demonstrates this strum bowing, so you can kind of see why it's important and how you would use this in context. So this, by the way, is a 6-string electric violin. It was made here in Nashville, and it's 802. Should I stop here, Andy, or do I got a minute, or should I do a real quick version?
You can play a thing.
Okay, I'm gonna play a real quick thing. I didn't realize how much I was talking. All right, so here's like the same lick, but in the different key. I'm gonna stand up because I got a loop pedal down here, and I need to hit the buttons. Oh, I just broke my B string. Look at that. I think just it's one of those things. It's one of those things. You know what? Hang on a second.
Rock and roll moment.
It was a very rock moment right there. But just because, well, I could plug this one in.
That's why you've got two.
I got another one. And it's almost in tune. But anyway, you get the idea. I don't have to play this for you. I think you get the gist of it. And the important takeaway from this is that Fiddle Hell is going to rock. So be there or be not in hell. What can I tell you?
Join us for more rock and roll moments with Tracy Silverman at Fiddle Hell.
I'll bring an extra D string.
That's right. That's right. Visit our virtual vendor table and you can get a virtual D string. So thanks, Tracy. Thanks to everyone who played. Joy Adams, Kevin Burke, Tony Thomas, Tom Collins, Jenna Moynihan, Vi Wickam, Renata Bratt, Tracy Silverman. We want you to come to Fiddle Hell, and that's why, because of these people and more. If you go to fiddlehell.com, you can read our schedule, and once you sign up, you can look at our schedule and start making a little schedule for yourself of the things that you can't miss live, that you want to be there for. So I think that's all. I want to thank my dad, Dave Reiner, for working way too hard every day to make this possible for everyone. And thank you all for joining us here on a Sunday evening. Yeah, I think that's all we got for today. So when you want to follow these instructors and come to their sessions, find them on the schedule. You can use the search box. They're there. They'll be waiting for you in hell.
See you.
That's great, Andy. Thank you so much for hosting. This is excellent. I'll point out we have 110 instructors and performers, 35 jams, 35 concerts, 160 workshops, and it's going to be great. So there used to be people who would run from one session to another and try to put a recorder here and a recorder there and get it all. But this way, pick what you like, and within a few hours, we'll have the sessions up for replay for the next 3 months. So just about every hour brings a jam, a concert, and 5 or even 6 workshops. Special attention, Saturday night concert should be great. The Womp, I hear, is going to be amazing with Andy and Joy and their friend Darren. Yeah.
Darren Garvey playing drums.
Playing drums, right.
Hell.
And there will be swamp monsters there.
Sure.
Sure.
Full on party vibes.
Yeah, we'll have a swamp. We'll be performing from our swamp.
That'll be great. That'll be perfect. And of course, you can learn the Cellosaurus Stomp, which will probably be played at the Womp. I'll just mention a quick plug. I'll be doing a couple of workshops myself on learning by ear, on bowing patterns, and on chords. So take a look for those. Thank you, everybody, for participating, playing, talking about your sessions, and we'll see you soon at Fiddle Hell.
Have a happy and safe Halloween, everyone.
Hey!
Yay!
Bye, everybody.
Bye.